hopefully we'll get up here and have it finished. And when we do that, we'll be able to go all the way back after and start all over again. Anyway, watch where you're walking, please. Take all the pictures that you want. There's nothing on here that's classified. All the pictures you want. In fact, if you want to, you could even take a picture of one. But that's not mandatory. All right? Keep that in mind. Questions. Any questions you've got, please don't hesitate to ask. Remember this. There's no such thing as a stupid question. However, there are stupid answers. I've got them. You've got the good questions. Let's move forward, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the ship, and we'll proceed on from there. However, you see these black things right here where my finger is with a little sharp point on them? If you are where they land out here someplace, and they go bang, you're in danger. But the ship is okay the way it is right here. All right? So keep this picture in mind. We talk about the 16-inch guns. You're going to get even closer. It's perfectly okay. I showered this morning. I shampooed my hair. I shone. All right, I'm going to walk back through you. Okay. Stay still. Don't move. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that you can look at the ship. You don't have to look at me. As good looking as I am, the ship is even better. This ship, the USS Missouri, started its life in January of 1941 at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, Brooklyn, New York. And in January of 1941, this country was not at war. Pearl Harbor Day was about 11 months later. We were in the middle of a depression. Everybody know what a depression is? Huh? Somehow with the money got put together, I don't know how, and 4 battleships were being built, among other ships. The 4 battleships were in the Iowa class. We have obviously the Iowa and the Missouri, the New Jersey and the Wisconsin. Those are the 4 ships in the Iowa class. Is there anybody here from New Jersey, by the way? I'll explain good in just a moment. It took 3 years to build this ship, 3 years under construction. In January of '44, it was christened by the daughter of the junior senator from the state of Missouri. His name, Harry S. Truman, her name, Mary Margaret Truman. She broke the bottle of champagne on the bow. The ship was launched, went into the water, spent the next 6 months getting outfitted, crew trained, came out to Pearl Harbor on Christmas Eve of 1944. Right after New Year's Day of 1945, set sail to the Western Pacific and began its tour in World War II. Participated in the invasion of Iwo Jima, Okinawa. These big guns bombarded the Japanese mainland. The unconditional surrender with the Japanese was signed on board this ship in September of 1945. And we'll go up to the surrender deck and take a look at that area, and I'll give you a little bit of the history of what happened. The war was over. The size of the armed forces is being shrunk. The size of the Navy is being shrunk. The 4 battleships in the Iowa class are each earmarked to go into the reserve fleet, the mothball fleet. The President of the United States at that time was Harry S. Truman, former senator from the state of Missouri. And he says, as long as I, Harry Truman, am the President of the United States, one of those battleships will remain in service. Which one, children, do you think he chose? Now, invariably, somebody is here from New Jersey, and they always say, New Jersey! And invariably they're wrong, but that's what I say about the people. The ship stayed in service, did 2 tours of duty during the Korean War. Mid-50s, Harry Truman, of course, is no longer the President of the United States. This ship goes to the mothball fleet. It's tied up to a pier in Bremerton, Washington. Tied up to that pier for 30 years. The only movement the ship made during that 30-year period was when the tide came in the ship rose, and when the tide went out, you got it, down it went. 30 years. In the mid-'80s, we have another president of the United States. We keep getting presidents in the United States, you notice that. In the mid-'80s, it's Ronald Reagan. He wants a 600-ship fleet. This ship was brought back into service. It's modernized, does 2 tours of duty in the Persian Gulf, escorting oil tankers, and finally in January of 1991, it fires the first Tomahawk missiles at Operation Desert Storm. The year of 1991, December, comes back here, the 50th Remembrance of Pearl Harbor Day, set sail going east to the west coast, back to Bremerton, Washington, back to that pier, and it rises and falls, not quite this quickly, with the tide. Some folks got together here and formed the USS Missouri Memorial Association, and somehow or the other got the ship donated to them, and it's been a memorial since January 1999. The way we upkeep the ship is through ticket sales and donations from people like you. So I want to thank you for being here. Spend your money here. Do not spend your money in Waikiki. I repeat, spend your money here. This ship has got a nickname. It's called the Mighty Mo. And there's 2 reasons why it earned that nickname. If you come with me, I'll tell you how. We'll do the middle one. We'll go to the left one. We'll start in a few seconds. We'll start all over again. And you can have a projectile in the air every 10 seconds. You've got 3 barrels, 3 more back aft, a total of 9. You fire all 9 at the same time. Did things right, you can fire all 9 and have 27 projectiles in the air before the first one ever hit. Takes 117 men in turret and in the barbette to operate. Any questions so far?
They ever shot all 27 afterwards?
I'm sure they have, and I really don't know for sure. My guess would be in Korea, yes. It doesn't. Oh, good question. The ship does not, let's say we're firing at the outside, okay? The ship does not roll over this way, nor does it move backwards. But I can assure you, and I've been on the ship when the guns were fired, it vibrates. And in keeping up with my sound effects, it feels something like this when you're inside the ship. It does not move sideways or roll. It does not. And the guns have to be fired broadside. Why? Well, if you fired it forward, forgetting the tourists that are up there, we don't worry about them, you would wipe everything off the forecastle. All of the vents, the anchor chain, the anchors, the flag, the antenna, the wood, the captain would be PO'd. At the end of his court-martial, he'd really be mad. Follow me.
And definitely don't do to the street.